Good morning, and welcome to GUTV's final Bracketology show. I'm Kendall Adams, your executive producer. Over the last few weeks, we've seen some fierce competition both on the court and in our Bracketology standings, so we're excited to break it all down for you today. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, and welcome back to the GUTV Bracketology show. I'm Xander Page.
And I'm Michael Hanrahan. It's been an exciting month for basketball and around campus. We'll cover it all today, so let's jump right in.
Last night marked the end of the NCAA men's tournament, and it did not disappoint. After a tumultuous final game, the Florida Gators will be taking home the NCAA championship, beating the Houston Cougars 65-63. Florida's Will Richard finished with 18 points and 8 rebounds to power Florida's second half comeback. Really close game. It was really riveting, fun, and just really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that's really all you can ask for from an NCAA final like that, is a close game and two great teams, and that's exactly what we got. And moving on to the women's side of the tournament, the UConn Huskies secured their 12th national title in 30 years, taking down South Carolina 82-59, with AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong collecting 24 points each, winning their first title since 2016. Again, a dominant performance by a great college team, really fun to watch.
But still, 24 points between two players, just really great to happen in one game.
Yeah.
So with that excitement of the tournament fresh on our minds, we have GUTV reporter Maddie Campbell in our Repeatable Suite ready to break down some standout moments from this March.
Thank you, Xander and Michael. This March truly cemented itself as a standout year on social media as the tournament garnered attention across all major platforms. Let's kick things off with a major milestone. Texas's women's team officially made it back in the Final Four for the first time since 2003. After taking down TCU in the Elite Eight, the Longhorns had fans fired up on social media. They exploded with hook 'em everywhere. Big moment for the program. Texas is back in business. Now over to UConn, where history continues to repeat itself in the best way. The Huskies secured another national title behind a powerhouse run. Paige Bueckers wrapped up her college career with her first championship, while AZ Fudd absolutely stole the show and earned tournament MVP. Between behind-the-scenes content and fan edits, TikTok was basically a UConn fan page for a week straight, which I'll touch on more in a minute. Let's switch gears to the men's tournament, starting off with the moment that shattered CSU's hearts. Derek Queen, Maryland freshman, hit a last-second buzzer beater to knock Colorado State out in round one. This moment went viral instantly, with Queen's calm stare down after the shot. Now let's talk pure adrenaline. Florida versus Auburn. This game had everything. A 10-point comeback, a poster dunk from Elijah Martin, and a wild sequence in the final seconds that had fans screaming both in the arena and online. X lit up with side-by-side reaction videos from students both on campus. And now it's time for something I've coined Maddie's Madness Edit. I picked a video I found through TikTok highlighting one of my personal favorite basketball players of all time, Paige Bueckers. Paige has earned her place in the Hall of Fame at UConn. She shoots at least 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point range, and 90% from the free throw line in a regular season games. I had a favorite coach-player moment on social media, which of course also includes Paige Bueckers. After their win in Spokane, advancing UConn to the Final Four, Bueckers poured confetti on her legendary coach. GU still has things to say about the tournament. To get a sneak peek, I pulled a screenshot from our very own GUTV 2025 group chat. As you can see, we were not necessarily excited about our outcome, but in the words of Kyle Sweeney for next year, we are so back. Social media surely brings a special excitement to March, along with the excitement of participating in bracket challenges. John Romero joins us now to break down the final standings from our own tournament pool.
Thanks, Maddie. It's been an exciting few weeks following the Bracketology standings over on our Instagram, but it's time to officially announce the winners of GUTV's Bracketology Challenge. UConn's landslide win over South Carolina on Sunday solidified Naomi Ray Grant as the winner of the student division with 339 points. Recent alum Trinity Wilhite took the alumni title with 318 points. It was a battle of the integrated media professors in the Friends and Family division, but newly appointed Department Chair Matt McCormick ended in first place with 303 points. But that makes our very own technical director, Naomi Ray Grant, the overall winner of GUTV's 2025 Women's Bracketology. We got the chance to sit down with Naomi about her stellar bracket making capabilities. Let's see what she had to say.
Yeah, I think just as someone who's really like coordinated and really good at like not falling, I just really relate to the athletes a lot, which gives me some unique insight. And I think that just really helps, making the bracket and just getting, that deeper knowledge of what it's like to be an athlete.
Congrats once again to Naomi. Now on the men's side, Catherine Brown led the student standings throughout the entire tournament and stayed on top with 323 points to end. Joe Beretta sealed his spot as the winner of the alumni standings with 285 points. Ann Collette and Eric Johnson battled it out on the leaderboard all March and both ended with 328 points last night. However, Ann more closely predicted the score of the final game, making her the official winner of GUTV's Men's Bracketology. Thank you from everyone here at GUTV for joining us during this bracketology season, and congratulations to our winners. Now, Xander and Michael, I didn't see your names up there. What happened with your brackets?
Well, John, I have about 3 words for you. Clemson, Final Four. Was it a horrible pick on my part? Yes. Do I regret it? Absolutely. But I am suspicious of Ann Collette winning the overall standings, considering who the teacher of this class is. I mean, come on.
There was definitely some collusion there. They definitely planned their brackets out together just to make sure at least one of them came out on top. But, what do I know? I didn't make one. So thank you so much, John, for crunching the numbers and reporting on our bracket challenge.
We're going to take a quick break here at Bracketology, but we'll be returning shortly with our last edition of Sports Talk. Stay tuned.
What's up? Sorry, I had a late lunch, but what are you guys working on here?
No, that's okay. We were kind of just finishing the storyboard. We were thinking of starting with a dark room shot.
Kind of like we did last week, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
remember
Okay.
that? Yeah. You really liked that idea last week.
No, I think that's fine. That was probably the only decent part of it, I would say.
Aren't you acting?
No, probably not.
Okay, well, we kind of already put it together. Do you not have...
No. I'm supposed to be gone.
Those longboarders are really starting to get on my nerves.
Bikers and scooters, too. They act like they own the sidewalk.
Yeah, earlier I was walking around and I saw a skateboarder. He's coming at me real hot and my friend was like, whoa. Then he just ran right into me. Then I looked at him and he said, my friend told him to share the concrete. So then I was like, yeah, share the concrete, bro.
Yeah, people with wheels need to share.
And welcome back to Bracketology. We've broken down all our standings and standout moments from the tournament. So now, for a deeper dive, let's send it across the studio to Kyle Sweeney for our last installment of Sports Talk.
Thank you so much, Michael. And I'm joined once again by Cam and Henry. We crowned 2 champions over the weekend. A lot to get to. We'll even get to a look ahead. It's never too early to do that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We will start on the women's side. UConn handled South Carolina, as we mentioned, by 23 points. Not a particularly close game in that second half. They returned to the mountaintop for the first time since 2016. They beat 3 1 seeds to get there, and it was just a truly dominant run, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, it was truly a legacy tournament from Paige Bueckers. For her to get her first national championship under Coach Gino, really what that means for this program, especially in an era of women's college basketball where, NIL money has really led to a lot of SEC schools, whether it's South Carolina, Tennessee, LSU, really dominating these past few years. And so for UConn to really get back atop of college basketball, it's a huge deal.
And a storybook ending for a dominant career for Paige Bueckers, of course, her first. But, Cam, there were a couple of dominant performances from players not other than Paige Bueckers, some players that will be returning to next year's squad as well.
Yeah, Paige with probably the best overall tournament individually, but, man, AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong, probably the game MVPs. Sarah Strong being a true freshman, 15 boards, 24 points. That's not something you see every day in a championship game. True freshman. She was outstanding. AZ Fudd can shoot the lights out. She proved it. Gino, after the Elite Eight, talked about what he needs to win a championship, a natty. And it's 2 or 3 prime-time players who can step up in the biggest moment and play their best ball. And that was Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd. Paige Bueckers didn't have her best game, but played well enough to offset, South Carolina's great play. But yeah, 48 points from Strong and Fudd. I mean, that's almost all of South Carolina's points right there.
And AZ Fudd could have gone to the WNBA draft. She elected to stay another year. Sarah Strong, of course, a true freshman, 24 and 15. That's going to be a dominant team next year. So look out for them. Of course, Gino's 12th championship with UConn, legendary coach. But on the men's side, Florida completely outlasted Houston. A come-from-behind victory. They were down double digits. Just a heartbreaker for Houston on that last possession. A little bit shaky in the last few possessions for them. Cam, you were high on Houston all tournament. They were just 2 points away from taking a national title. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, back-to-back comebacks in the Final Four for Houston. One of them went their way against Duke, and the other not so much. But, I mean, this is what we should have expected from Florida. They have been the second-half team all tournament long. They've been down multiple scores in almost every one of their tournament games. Walter Clayton Jr., abysmal first half, right? 0 points. Looked uncomfortable, couldn't get it going against Houston's physical, tough defense. But then, when it mattered most, he came through. I think he ended with about 10 points. Had some crucial and ones down the stretch to complete that comeback. Man, what a kid, what a performance. I mean, Florida's size ended up catching up to Houston, and Walter Clayton, once again, with the closeout of the year on Emmanuel Sharp, didn't even know what to do with the ball, tried to dribble it out of a shot, something that you're not allowed to do at the collegiate level, and that's what ended up costing Houston a win.
Their first championship since 2007, a team that featured 3 NBA players. So back to the mountaintop are the Gators. Henry, do you have any more comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, the story of the game was Florida's defense. They're the 6th best defense in the country, according to KenPom. It was really just a matter of whether or not they would show up, and in this moment down the stretch, they absolutely did, causing 2 big turnovers on Houston's side. And one thing that I think is interesting, Houston took 16 more shots than Florida throughout the game, but didn't get a shot off in those final 2 possessions, something that Kelvin Sampson called incomprehensible. Another fun nugget, Kelvin Sampson was searching for his 800th win. And so if they cut down the nets in San Antonio, he would have gotten win number 800. So he'll still be sitting at 799 going forward.
And after that, thrilling comeback against Duke. They turned it over on the last 3 possessions. They just couldn't close it out. But that was a team that Gonzaga almost beat in the second round. Gonzaga put up 49 second-half points. I mean, we all know it, just a crusher there in round 2. But it's never too early to look ahead for Gonzaga for next year. But they're going to have to rebound. They're going to lose a lot of key guys, especially from the three-point line, Henry.
Yeah, it's never too early to look ahead. March Madness, it came and went, but that madness continues through the transfer portal. Over 2,000 players putting their name in the portal. Gonzaga has been no exception to the early wave of roster movement. They lost 3 guys, Dusty Stromer, Michael Ajayi, and Jun Suk Yo within the first 3 days of the portal opening up. Ajayi and Stromer already have new homes, both in Grand Canyon and in Butler. And like you said, with the 3-point scoring, Gonzaga is set to lose at least 95% of its 3-point scoring from last season, something that is not an issue Mark Few can't fix, but it'll be interesting to see what he does in the portal.
I mean, we've seen a couple of roster turnarounds, and with that portal, it will be, a completely new roster. Nemhard, Battle, they're going to be gone. Cam, can you fill us in a little bit more?
Yeah, what this offseason has reminded me of is kind of the one from 3 years ago where the only real big name left on GU's team was Anton Watson. And they ended up bringing in Ryan Nemhard and Graham Ike to offset that, turbulence from the offseason. Mark Few, not a coach that usually deals with a lot of transfer portal, turnover. But this year, Stromer, Ajayi, Sekyo, they're all leaving. So who's coming back? Jalen Worley and Braden Smith are coming as new guys to the program. Smith obviously has been here for the whole year at the school. He's been getting ready, a Patriot League MVP. And then Graham Ike and Braden Huff are going to be holding it down on the post if they stay. Obviously, Huff could still leave through the portal, but I hope not. After he started those last 3 games, he sees the role that Mark Few is carving out for him. That will be a dominant 1 and 2 down low. Man, it'll be fun to see how this team retools and recalibrates for next year.
Obviously, their Sweet 16 streak came to an end this year. It's time to create a new dynasty. Never too early to look ahead. But that is the end of our last edition of Sports Talk. Cam McCann, Henry Kruger, thank you so much for joining me all month long, and thank you guys for tuning in. But we still have a lot more to come after the break, including a story about a winning track team that has no track. Stay with us.
Beautiful.
Hey, I like your smile. Great job. Keep up the good work. Hey, your shirt looks really good on you.
And this here is the kindest girl on Gonzaga's campus. You're the best. I love GU.
Welcome back to Bracketology.
Now that we've covered the NCAA tournament and all things Gonzaga basketball, we want to highlight another sport here at GEU. Gonzaga's track team has been a dominant program in the West Coast Conference, including multiple WCC titles in program history and an NCAA championship appearance this most recent season. But how does this elite track program function without having a track of their own? Cam McCann visited the team's unique facilities to show us.
Gonzaga Track and Field is home to one of the best distance running programs in the nation. So why am I here on Mulligan Field? Well, that's because this is one of the public spaces that they use to practice on during the season. That's right, Gonzaga Track and Field doesn't have its own track and they don't have field athletes. So how are they still able to maintain this high level success? I sat down with Pat Tyson and Jake Stewart, the head coaches of the men's and women's team, to find out more.
Wherever you go, this is your deck of cards you're dealt. What are you going to do with this deck of cards? What are you going to bring to Vegas to play with? I'm a competitor. I hate losing. But you got to start somewhere. I'll start. I guess I'll drop my arm. Don't worry, I've got groups to time you. Once you got a group, you just let me know when you have a group. Woo! Spiked up.
What we lack in whatever resources or facilities or whatever, like we just try to make up with creativity. I think those, the understanding that is more of what drives our bond.
60 seconds. Perfect, Rosina. You guys look good. This looks nice. Very good. Really? Yeah, that's a nice sweatshirt. We just got a t-shirt. Really? Yeah.
We're on a track 2 to 3 times a week. So during the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually we're up here at Hartfield. So it's wake up early. Tyson usually pick up some of the freshmen and sophomores on campus. The rest of us will kind of carpool, transport ourselves up to practice. On the weekends, we usually switch it up and go to Meade High School, which is north, so other side of town, which is kind of nice to get some variety in there.
A track's a track at the end of the day, whether Gonzaga's name is attached to it or not. So we show up and get our things done, and we call it a day.
When Wells Group's ready, I'll drop my arm.
When I came to the team as a freshman, we had never been to the national championship, and then we made it 4 years in a row.
Now, next group!
We got here and it was like, we want to win conference, we want to make nationals, and finally we made it happen this year. So I think we just communicate what we want to do, and like this past year it was really nice that we finally got to check that box off.
You're wasting your time if you're coming here for stuff.
Get a shot. This is what we deal with. Like whatever sprinklers come on.
Got people in lane 1. You get run over.
Yeah, well, they'll get run over, and that's life. We like to share, though. Don't get me wrong. The university has rewarded us with little 16 carrots, I guess. We have all the resources to go anywhere to compete, to be at our best, and that's more important than having a track on campus.
I think we're just going to continue to trend and grow.
Because there will be a track on this campus someday.
It's not a deal breaker.
We have people that open the door here, say hello to you here. It's truly a community, and the kids know that we have something that Power 5 schools don't have.
Zags on 3. 1, 2, 3, Zags!
Very, very awesome to see just how dedicated and all the team members are on this team to have to carpool to practice every single day.
Yeah, I think it's something you don't really think about that often, but the way they've navigated the lack of a facility and still being so successful at the highest level is really impressive. Super fun sports story, and another fun sports story that we have for you. From 2012 to 2016, Caleb Wood played on Gonzaga's baseball team as a standout second baseman. While he never ultimately finished his degree back then due to his athletic commitments, he has now returned to GU. Casa Yuso has more.
For many young athletes, making it to the big leagues is the ultimate dream. But for one college baseball player, that dream was derailed by struggles with mental health and addiction. Now, he's on a journey of recovery and redemption.
0-2 on the way. Wood hits it to the left side of the infield. Will get through for
I got a full ride scholarship to play baseball here. My job was to just basically do well in classes and perform well on the baseball field, and I did that to a pretty good standard. I went on a medical leave of absence my senior year before season started. The medical leave of absence was due to the fact that I was basically not healthy mentally, and had to go get treatment in order to figure out what the problem was, how to address the problem, and how to move on with my life, knowing that I do have, some underlying issues that I had to take care of.
For 3 years, Caleb Wood devoted his life to the Gonzaga Bulldogs baseball team, but an unforeseen mental breakdown took that away. He then took another shot in Arizona. Sadly, his mental woes continued, costing him his baseball career.
Caleb Wood waved around third. He's going to come in and score standing up. The Bulldogs cut San Diego's lead.
Learned a lot my first time here, definitely, of just how kind of it is to take care of yourself and, be around other people.
Looking back, he sees his cannabis addiction as the root of the problem. Though doctors had warned him, it took years to recognize its impact on his mental health, performance, and personal life. Now, 15 months sober, he credits his family, friends, and faith for his recovery.
It's important to have something that you're striving towards. And when I was first here at Gonzaga, I was striving towards becoming a Major League Baseball player. That was my goal. I wanted to play baseball. I wasn't too concerned about school. But now this time around, I think it's just important to remember, I'm here for not only because of what happened from the medical leave of absence and me not being able to finish, but also just to create that legacy within myself and my family, my future family and my kids, and be able to tell them, hey, you know, I went through some rough times, but I was stronger in the end because of it.
For GUTV, I'm Cassie Yuso.
Very, very just inspiring story from Caleb. I'm very, very glad he could come back and finish his degree.
Yeah, super good story there. Shout out to Cassie for getting that package made. And while he's no longer an athlete, Caleb still has plenty of opportunities to stay active on campus. One of those opportunities comes from GU Outdoors. Gonzaga Outdoors has been known campus-wide since its founding in 1999. With a wide variety of programming from day hikes to rafting to skiing and snowboarding, the club aims to offer students accessible opportunities to get outside.
There's no requirement for knowledge, and we are here to learn from others, and so that others can learn from us. And even as trip leaders, we come out of every single trip thinking that we have learned something from our participants. And we, as the trip leaders, we just want people to come have fun, and we just want to share what we love with people, which is the outdoors.
For any Gonzaga student interested in participating in their trips, you can join their email list on the Gonzaga website. Students can also rent gear from their office located on the corner of Pearl and Sharp.
And right next door to GU Outdoors, our very own program is undergoing some changes starting next semester. The broadcast major here at Gonzaga has been renamed to Digital Media Production. The new major will host many similar courses to the current program, but will offer a deeper dive into filmmaking, audio production, and other forms of media.
I'd say the department overall has known that it needed to make this change for a while. The writing's been on the wall that broadcast news as we know it is kind of in a state of flux right now, and that we needed to expand things. I think the biggest thing that we want to encourage all students to do is talk to your advisor, talk to one of us, and also just be confident that this isn't going to slow anyone down. This isn't going to interrupt anyone's path to graduation. You know, it's either going to be maintain the status quo, do exactly what you've been doing, or adopt this new opportunity.
The major have the option to switch to the new curriculum or continue on with their current requirements. The new major will kick off this coming fall. And you know, Michael, I'm a little bit sad because I'm going to be graduating soon, so this seems really interesting and I'm not going to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah, disappointing you're not going to have any access to the new major or the classes associated with it, and we are really sad to see you go. In this time of transition for the department, it's hard not to think about some of our seniors, like Xander, who are graduating in just a few weeks. I sat down with Carson Scallon, another senior, to talk about his journey here at GUTV.
I got it. My name is Carson Scallon. I'm a senior broadcast media major with a minor in visual literacy. I fell in love with video at a young age, and I really wanted to make some for myself. To be honest, I didn't really know what exactly broadcast media meant. I went in pretty blind for someone who had a brother that went here, but lucky enough it worked out, pretty perfectly for me so far. I absolutely think it's worth coming to school and getting a degree in video rather than just jumping into the field. Right? I'm a completely different person than I was my freshman year. It's not just about learning broadcast, learning video. It's about learning how to live with people, learning how to live on your own, cook food for yourself, and work with people so that when you enter that field, you're already well versed in every avenue once you leave college. It's hard to decide what project of mine I'm most proud of. I've had so many that I've been so blessed to make and had such a great time making, but some of the standouts are my sophomore year I made a package about student reporting at game day when ESPN College Game Day came to town. And last year I made a short film with a bunch of people in the department called You'll Be Jolly, which was about an angry Santa Claus. And that was some of the most fun I've ever had, making something. I wrote this really dumb idea, and somehow over the course of 4 months, it became an actual thing. I definitely had my experience with tight-knit groups in this program. I think it was really beneficial to start. You start your freshman year with these people, and then by my senior year, it's the same people. So I've grown with them through that time, and I've gotten more comfortable with them through that time. I think my advanced TV production class was some of the most fun I've ever had. I think the most enjoyable part of making videos, making content is just seeing the process from start to finish. It starts with one little idea in your head or one idea written down, and then come a certain amount of time later, whether it's weeks or months or even days, you have a full finished project that you've poured hours and hours into and that you're really proud of, and it's very fulfilling to get to be hey, here's this thing I made, now show it to everybody else, and everyone else gets to see it and see your hard work, and it's a very rewarding process. Perfect, and I didn't even laugh much more.
Super fun time getting to talk to Carson. Definitely one of the most talented students we have in the department, but don't worry, Xander, you're still my favorite senior that's leaving.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I've definitely learned a few things from Carson here and there, and it'll be sad to see him go, but we're excited to see what Carson and all of our seniors do after they graduate. So let's check in with our alumni of this week, Emily Contreras, to see what she's been up to since graduating from Gonzaga.
My name is Emily Contreras, used to be Emily Young for anyone who knew me back then. Right now, I'm the Director of Content and Social Media at the Feed. I manage our team who does all of our social content creation and social posting and manage all of our social channels through Feed. So we reach like 80 million people a month on average across all the different social channels. I do a lot of content strategy and analyzing of our channels. A lot of GU grads will do the news route, and it just wasn't calling me, and so I went the video production route right out of school, and I started working at North by Northwest right after graduation in 2018. And I was really lucky to get to work on the season 6 of Washington Grown, and I was basically editing and kind of be an associate producer for that show. So that was a farm to table TV show where we worked with different restaurants and farmers, and talked about how the produce gets to the restaurant, and that whole journey for the food industry. And it was really cool because on my first season there, we actually won an Emmy for one of the episodes that we did. So I was it was a great experience, and I really enjoyed editing and doing that. I took a class my senior year that we had to make a documentary for, and we actually made a documentary called Raising Autism, which is about going from kids to adults with autism and the programs that aren't available as frequently for adults. And so I feel like that class and working on that project really helped prepare me for my filming and editing skills. I had to get a lot faster and think about the way to tell a story in a really succinct way. But it's been a lot of fun, and I really do love what I do. So and I learned a lot of things about editing and how to tell a good story from my time at Gonzaga.
A great alumni story there, and it's cool to see that Emily's doing good stuff after graduating. That's going to be you here pretty soon, Xander.
I hope so. I hope one day I get a package of my own, but hey, we'll see. But on that note, that concludes our final installment of Bracketology here at GUTV.
Thanks for joining us today, and be sure to tune in this Saturday for our annual Gel Weekend game show. Until then, go Zags.